nonstop, 24 hours a day, talking to you about alternative medicine and still not really cover the whole gamut. So, in the brief period of time I have to speak to you folks, I want to cover one thing, which is critically important. Has anyone ever heard of a gentleman by the name of Fritz Alfred Pop? Fritz Alfred Pop. Anybody? Okay. Have you read any of his work?
No.
Okay. Well, in 1996, Fritz Alfred Pop changed the paradigm of medicine. Because you see, up until 1996, with him and his researchers, we thought in medicine that everything was biochemical and reaction in nature. Now we know we have roughly 50 to 100 trillion cells in our body, and each one of those cells has an excess of 100,000 enzymatic reactions that occur every minute of the day. That's a lot of stuff going on, isn't it? A lot of stuff. But here's the thing. If we dealt with biochemical reactions, we could never get done fast enough, and we wouldn't even be here now. We'd be gone. So what Fritz Alfred Pop did with his researchers, he developed and researched and proved without a shadow of a doubt that life is light. Energy is derived from light. And what I mean by that is this. We know that light travels at 186,000 miles per second. Pretty fast stuff. Sound, 640 miles per second. Okay? So how does this work? Well, we know that if you have organic food and we have conventional food, we know that the organic food is better than the conventional food. With light spectroscopy, we can determine this now. See, because here's what happens. If you take an organic carrot, and you take a conventionally grown carrot, and you measure them with light spectroscopy, the carrot that's organic is much brighter light. So how does that have anything to do with the human body? It's simple. Each of our cells has DNA. And this DNA flexes and extends like an accordion. Okay? And as this DNA flexes in, it takes in light from the outside, such as an organic carrot. Nutrients, water, whatever. And if that light is coming in the form of biophoton, it goes into the DNA. The DNA then extends out. The light then comes out in a bright light, which then goes to the powerhouse of the cell to produce enzymatic reactions in life, which is called the mitochondria. Each cell has 11,000 mitochondria. And so in essence, it's what you eat and what you consume determines the brighter the light coming in, the more energy that you produce to feed the body. So if you eat a McDonald's burger, very dull light, you know? Dull light coming in produces dull light coming out, which then the body does not respond as quickly, premature aging, setting you up for degenerative changes, pathology, endocrine conditions, and so on and so forth. So it all boils down to, they found out what life is all about. Life is light. Okay? So, we can take any of these fine nutrients here, and we can analyze them. And as we analyze all those beautiful nutrients, and we took them in, that bright light would then go to your DNA. You would then produce your own biophotons going to the mitochondria, producing energy, and there you are. That's life. That's life. If you have an opportunity, read on him. Fritz Alfred Pop, P-O-P-P. He should have won at least a half a dozen Nobel Peace Prizes. But this is sort of suppressed stuff. Okay? So what I try to tell people is that you are what you eat, breathe, and drink. And hopefully, when you take in good, you'll produce good, and then you'll live a longer, more healthy, and productive life. And so that's interesting. That's pretty much what I have to say on this matter. I've got a short period of time to say it. I don't know where I'm at, Carol. Carol, I still got some time, or am I running shy? Or?
You're doing good. 10 minutes.
Okay. So when we're dealing with this stuff, it's critically important. Now, I can go into tangents in all the different fields of endocrinology and pathology and autoimmune conditions and so on and so forth. But I'll just cover just one little thing here. Anybody here on statin drugs? Medication to lower your cholesterol levels, triglycerides. Anyone here dare to put their hand up? Well, we know the statin drugs are bad. There's a written article that was published by Dr. Joseph Pertola today, it was in his newsletter, that states that your chances of developing coronary heart disease or blockages are 4-fold greater by taking statin drugs to lower your cholesterol. Now we know that 90% of your cholesterol is produced in your liver, 10% comes from your diet. Contrary to what you've been told in the past, you don't have to worry about too much of what you're eating because your body produces cholesterol. Your brain is 1/3 cholesterol. The lining of your nerves, the myelin sheath, is cholesterol-based. Every hormone in your body is made of cholesterol. And every cell in your body, the outer lining, called the cellular membrane, is cholesterol. So cholesterol is your friend, not your enemy. And so if you take a statin drug, what it does is it stops the production of CoQ10 in your liver, which feeds your heart, and also stops the production of vitamin D3, which is actually a hormone. And with those two things being stopped in the production, we have a barrage of different things that are going to happen to the body. And I imagine Dr. Clement can speak on this, as with myself, for hours on end. And we run into all these kinds of things with people that come into our offices that want to get better and they don't know where to start. And they're afraid of stopping this and doing this and doing this because they're told if you stop this, you're going to die, which is a bunch of hocus pocus. As a matter of fact, in 1973, there was a strike in Israel. You know, socialized medicine there. The doctors weren't getting enough money. So what the doctors did is they said, look, we're going to strike. And they shut down for 1 month. You know, in that 1 month period of time, the mortality rate dropped 75%? You know? Sort of a frightening thing. Especially when we know that today in our country that between 150 and 250,000 people die a year from the adverse reactions to medication properly prescribed, let alone all the other things that happen. Okay? So, this is stuff to ponder upon. And what Dr. Clements and myself and the other doctor in the back has to offer, Dr. Telmore, we're what we call outside, we're cutting edge. We're like mavericks, you know? When I talked to Carol the other day on the phone, she says, well, what do you do? She says, well, I can look at this and that. I says, but see, I'm a maverick. You know, you ever watch that show Top Gun? Top Gun? The Maverick? Well, I'm the Maverick. See? I think outside the box. I do what's outside the box because my #1 goal is to help you. Education is the key because in Latin the term doctor means teacher. Today we don't have teachers that are doctors. You may see a doctor or you may not. You may see a physician's assistant or a nurse practitioner, but very rarely you see the doctors. Doctors don't have time to talk to you, see? And they don't have time to sit back and say, look, we have to go back in time 10 and 20 years at a cellular level to try to take care of this. Now, the one thing nice about the Hippocrates clinic is that 3-week interval in time you're there, you're in an intensive program. You're like going to college. But at the same time, they're teaching you proper bowel habits, proper eating, what to eat, what not to eat, regulation of pH, and so on and so forth. And that's critically important because I can only spend so much time talking to a person in my office, but thank God we have something of this quality available for people like yourselves to go and see if in the event you have a major problem. When you leave there, what I usually do then is I have people come in and I pick up the pieces. I follow through as far as diagnostic studies and support because you have to have a captain to try to take care of the crop. You know, otherwise you're floundering, you know, because you can't remember all this. You don't know all this stuff. See? After 33 years of doing this in clinical practice, I'm still learning on it.